Oh, did you see the other news report that Anita Sarkeesian was in?
No.
This was a real news report, unlike, when she was on Colbert,
Okay.
Violent depictions of women being beaten, raped, and run over by cars. It's not the movies, it's video games. And now the women calling for change in this multi-billion-dollar virtual industry are facing a very real backlash, including death threats. Here's
death threats.
Let us characterize everyone against us as monsters.
Yeah, there's no one who there's anybody who's just saying like, "Hey, I really don't think, just because something's depicted in a video game that means that it's really influencing people's, perspectives or anything, and really it's just a fantasy and people recognize it as such." It's like, "Oh my God, extremists, death threats, you want to rape women, oh my God, misogyny, my
Nightline co-anchor, Juju Chang.
Juju Chang.
For Anita Sarkeesian, this
Oh
is the
my
new
God,
normal.
What a break.
Armed
Give me a
escorts
break.
at public events.
She needs
tracking
fucking, she needs police escorts. She may be killed at any moment. Give me a fucking break.
She might as well get like a Pope mobile.
I know, I mean...
Any man who sees Anita Sarkeesian on the street is instantly going to attack her. Just, "Oh my God, Anita Sarkeesian!"
It's just a big smile on her face. Oh yes, I need this protection.
Here's my chance.
Someone's gonna kill me. What a fucking coward.
every move.
I'm constantly aware of the fact that there's an enormous amount of hate directed towards me.
Hate in the form of bomb threats,
Which you don't acknowledge
rape
any
threats,
valid
even
criticism
death
of
threats.
you. It's just everyone wants to kill you. This is the ultimate victim. She's talking about special treatment. Look at the treatment she gets. She has to have a police escort when she goes to any event, but she doesn't want to be seen as special.
On this
Or
morning,
any different
high
from
alert
anyone
at
else.
Loyola University in Chicago. It's Anita's first speaking engagement since threats of a shooting massacre forced her to cancel her last appearance. All because this media critic dared to criticize something millions of us play every day.
Dared to.
Who plays video games?
Video.
This is this sycophantic
media
new,
critic.
yeah, this sycophantic obsession with Anita Sarkeesian, where she's just saying to Anita, she's just taking on this monolithic evil industry and the backlash of the villainous gaming male populace. Oh,
You
we
know,
will destroy her.
I
How
kinda-
dare she question our power?
I couldn't have even have imagined that this would have made like mainstream news when all this shit started.
Oh yeah, she's had a profound effect. Yeah, like I was reading something where it's like, I forget what it was. Oh, I think some woman won a Golden Globe for like Edge of Tomorrow. She's like, I'm glad I got to be in an action movie and not play a damsel in distress. And I was like, give me a fucking break. It's just in polluting everything in our culture, and pretty soon it's just going to be a mainstream idea. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's just going to be, no one's going to have any fun because the feminist crowds are to come in and tell us why we're all sexist, racist, bigoted, and everything else. Unless we just do what they say and kowtow to every demand they make and change everything in our culture to suit them.
Video games. The threats making splashy headlines around the world on shows like Melissa Harris Perry.
The threat of violence, all too real.
And webcasts
All
like
too
Democracy
real.
Now
Why don't you
and
actually prove some
HuffPost
of your
Live.
fucking bullshit claims? These people all make these claims. We're told time and time again, well, this is what happens, and this is what happens, and this is what happens. Then anytime you ask them for any fucking evidence, it's absent, or it's some fucking feminist garbage study of like 5 women walked down the street and men said something to them, therefore we're correct. Oh my god. This is a joke.
This is ABC News, the American Broadcasting Company.
For pointing out sexism in video games.
Things got heated, to say the least.
The harassment became part of what's now known as Gamergate. What started as an online spat about the ethics of gaming journalism quickly escalated into a full-blown culture war.
Women shouldn't be mere disposable objects or symbolic pawns in stories about men.
And a small...
But men can be, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you kill the male soldiers, that's okay. We feel no sympathy for them. They can be pawns, but women can't be pawns.
Small but hardcore group of gamers resistant to change.
God ordained that it is one man, one joystick.
But Gamergate doesn't just affect boys playing in a basement. The stakes are much higher than
I
you
have
might
an idea.
think. We're now spending more...
I think I can solve this. How about the guys who want games, and not even just guys, but the people who want games that are not politically correct and censored based upon, other people's preferences and values and whatever else. The people who just want, real games that are made by people who are just trying to fucking tell cool stories and give you a fucking fun and exciting experience. How about those people buy those games and you guys can buy your pretentious fucking PC games and we'll just see how they fucking do in the open marketplace of ideas.
Pretentious PC games, that could have been taken.
Well, no, I'm not saying I'm not saying personal computer. I'm saying politically correct.
I know.
Just in case anyone was confused.
That makes too much sense.
More money on games than movies and music combined, to the tune of $21 billion. And what might surprise you, there are now more adult women playing video games than there are teenage boys. We're talking about fantastical scenarios like the ones in BioShock.
So if there's so many adult women playing the video games, does it seem like they're bothered by this alleged misogyny that's happening?
Let's really define gaming, because when you look at all these studies, it includes gaming on your phone. If you look at guys or people rather sitting in front of consoles, sure, there's plenty of women that do that too, but I would say that's a more male-dominated space.
Do they count Candy Crush and Angry Birds as gaming?
Yeah, sure.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah, that's why you keep. Yeah, I mean, they like to trot out that statistic, but it is kind of deceiving because they do count that shit.
And I'm not saying that's not gaming. I'm just saying that's not what we're referring to. Gamers are a subculture of people who I'm all about playing these games on consoles or PCs, and this is kind of part of my personality is I'm constantly discussing games or playing them.
Candy Crush.
Which isn't to say that's supposed to be exclusively for men. It's just saying I think when you come down to people who game more, there's going to be a more male-dominated space.
And epic adventures in games like Mirror's Edge. What is it exactly that's so disturbing in some video games that's making women like Anita willing to face
this fucking
death
fraud
threats?
here.
Just when you think you hit the worst example or the most misogynist example, you find another one.
What about lies like you, Anita? Okay, the same person that lied about her non-profit status when she didn't get it till long after she said it. So, I mean, and the same person who there's a clip on YouTube, I don't really like gaming, I'm not a gamer. And now suddenly, when she gains fame and traction for it, I'm the biggest, most avid gamer you could ever find. And this is a person we put total trust in. The media's, this is a great person, let's lionize this person. She's so wonderful, she's so amazing.
Illuminati. Where's the vigilant Christian Anita Sarkeesian as Illuminati video? Because she's starting to work her way up.
I'm sure there'll be one soon.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going to fall on that one.
I mean, have you guys ever seen a media story about Anita Sarkeesian by a mainstream news outlet in any country that raised any questions or was at all critical of her?
No.
I mean,
I've yet to see it.
So I mean, how can we really say that she's really?
I'm not even talking. We're not
scrutinized.
Look, we're not even talking about a hit piece. We're not even talking about an article that's full on fuck Anita Sarkeesian. She's a bitch.
No,
I'm talking about one that even raises one of the many questions that have been raised on the internet by the fucking communities that are just totally ignored and marginalized and just
are attacked as
universally labeled as these people are violent and making threats, when most of the people who were involved in Gamergate were doing no such fucking thing. And I wasn't even a Gamergate supporter, but even I could see that.
Is big business. More than half of us are already playing games like this one, Grand Theft Auto 5. But critics say in these virtual worlds, things often take a turn toward the dark side.
As a player, you can
All right.
So fucking what?
Yeah, and they're like,
and everyone
you can kill a hooker and run her over with a car, and that's basically.
So
what
so everyone becomes a pimp that plays these games, and
in a pretend fantasy, you can do things you couldn't do in real life. Holy shit!
You can fly. If you play God of War, you can fucking kill the Greek gods. I mean, what the fuck?
I love how there's no these people. At least back in the 90s when they were complaining video games are too violent, you could be like, well, they're talking about people being disemboweled and shit. But now it's just oh, well, you can't even you pick up a hooker and it's like, oh my god, you picked up a hooker in a game, so this is obviously encouraging misogyny. You know, I mean, it's pretend. It's make-believe.
There's also games where you can commit suicide in them, like jumping off a building. And
you can fucking commit suicide in Mario.
Right.
You could just jump off a fucking platform and be like,
I'm dead. Yeah.
Do they say that video games encourage suicide?
They should. By their logic, you could say anything like that.
I don't know. I've played some games that made me want to kill myself, but
like Cheetah Men.
That was a pretty bad game.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat Cheetah Man.
No, you're not.
How?
With my magical powers.